A devoted family of 3 embarked on a dream camping trip deep in the Alaskan wilderness, only to vanish without a trace amid the towering peaks and unforgiving forests. For 4 agonizing years, a community searched in vain, while hope flickered and died, until a lone fisherman cast his line into a remote glacial lake and hooked something that would unravel a mystery shrouded in ice and silence. The yellow sleeping bag, sodden and defiant, bore the one clue that would expose a hidden truth no one saw coming. The piercing wail of sirens echoed through the small town of Seward, Alaska, on that fateful evening of January 12, 2002. But for Lila Byrne, it was the silence that followed which haunted her most. She was Elias Byrne's sister, the one who had waved goodbye to her brother, his wife Serena, and their 4-year-old son Finn, as they loaded their rugged Jeep with tents, packs, and that bright yellow sleeping bag Finn loved because it made him feel like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. They were heading into the heart of Kenai Fjords National Park for a week-long camping adventure, a celebration of Elias's recent promotion as a wildlife photographer. Elias, 32, with his easy smile and boundless energy, had always been the adventurer of the family, the one who could navigate by stars and build a fire in a blizzard. Serena, 30, a schoolteacher with a gentle spirit, shared his passion for the outdoors, and little Finn was their joy, a bundle of curiosity with wide eyes that mirrored the vast Alaskan skies. But when their planned return date came and went, Lila's phone stayed silent. By the 3rd day overdue, her worry turned to terror. She pictured Finn's small hand clutching that yellow bag, his laughter echoing off the fjords, now replaced by an emptiness that clawed at her chest. The authorities were notified at 8:45 p.m. on January 15th, Lila's voice steady but laced with dread as she described their route. A moderate trail looping around Harding Ice Field, with campsites near Exit Glacier and a pristine alpine lake they called their secret spot. Elias had sent one last text from a spotty signal area, a photo of the family beaming in front of jagged peaks, Finn perched on Elias's shoulders, the green tent pitched behind them. "Paradise found. See you soon," it read. That image would become the haunting emblem of their disappearance, plastered on missing persons flyers across Alaska. Ranger Harlan Keats, a grizzled veteran with 25 years patrolling the fjords, took the report at the park's visitor center. He knew the terrain intimately, the ice fields that could swallow a man whole, the sudden crevasses hidden under fresh snow, the bears that roamed with primal indifference. A family vanishing wasn't unheard of in these parts, but Elias was no novice. He taught survival workshops and packed redundancies for every scenario, from bear spray to satellite beacons. With a child involved, the stakes were visceral. Keats mobilized immediately, his team launching into the night under halogen lights. The first 48 hours were a frenzy of hope and heartache. Helicopters thrummed over the ice field, their spotlights piercing the twilight while ground teams, rangers, volunteers, and search dogs combed the trails. They found the family's Jeep parked at the trailhead, untouched, keys still in the ignition as if they'd planned a quick return. Inside, half-eaten snacks, a child's drawing of a moose. But no sign of struggle, no blood, no torn clothing. The wilderness had erased them cleanly. By day 3, the search expanded, drawing in state troopers and Coast Guard units scanning the nearby fjords for any drift. Locals whispered about the legends of the land, the spirits of the Alutiiq people said to guard these ancient grounds, or the rogue waves that could capsize a makeshift raft. Lila joined the efforts, her boots pounding the earth, calling out names until her throat rawed. She imagined Serena cradling Finn in that yellow bag during a storm, Elias shielding them with his body. The thought was a knife twist. If you're gripped by this tale of vanishing in the wild, smash that like button and subscribe for more heart-pounding mysteries. Your support keeps these stories alive. As days stretched to a week, clues remained elusive. The park's deceptive beauty hid its dangers. Dense alder thickets that could disorient even experts, glacial rivers swelling with meltwater, and fog that rolled in like a living shroud. Teams gridded off sections, shouting coordinates into radios, but the only discoveries were false alarms, a discarded candy wrapper, a boot print too large to match. Keats pored over maps, theorizing a wrong turn into a crevasse or a bear encounter, but no scatter track supported it. The media descended, turning the Byrne family into a national headline. Alaskan dream trip turns nightmare. Interviews with Lila aired on evening news, her eyes red-rimmed as she begged for tips. Public tips flooded in, sightings in Anchorage, a family matching their description at a ferry terminal, but all led nowhere. By the end of month 1, the official search scaled back, resources diverted to new emergencies. Volunteers dwindled, leaving Lila to hike alone, her backpack heavy with flyers and fading resolve. The narrative shifted in the void. Online forums buzzed with suspicion. Elias, with his survival skills, couldn't just get lost. Maybe he orchestrated it. A fresh start, escaping debts or a strained marriage. Whispers of insurance fraud or foul play circled. Serena's family defended them fiercely, but doubt seeped in. Lila refused it all. She knew Elias's devotion, saw it in how he read bedtime stories to Finn. 4 years blurred into a haze of anniversaries marked by quiet vigils. The case file gathered dust at the ranger station, another unsolved enigma in Alaska's vast ledger. Lila moved to a cabin overlooking Resurrection Bay, her life a shadow, haunted by what-ifs. Finn would be 8 now, she thought, tall like his father. The world forgot, but she clung to a sliver of hope, like a flame in Arctic wind. Then, on a crisp morning in August 2006, came the break no one expected. Miles from the original trail, at a remote lake fed by glacial runoff, a fisherman named Trent Barrow was trolling for salmon when his line snagged. Expecting a log, he reeled in hard and surfaced a waterlogged yellow sleeping bag, its fabric torn but vibrant, straps tangled in weeds. He nearly dropped it back, but something nagged. The color, the child-sized roll. He called authorities. Ranger Keats, now nearing retirement, arrived at the lakeside, his heart pounding as he examined the bag. It matched the description from the Byrne file, the exact model Elias had bought for Finn, down to the blue lining peeking through a rip. Mud-caked but intact, it bore no immediate signs of violence, just the wear of submersion. The discovery electrified the cold case. How had it ended up here, in a lake untouched by searches, far from their route? Keats forwarded photos to Lila, who collapsed upon seeing it, tears mixing with relief and fresh grief. The bag was rushed to the Alaska State Crime Lab in Anchorage, where forensic expert Dr. Nora Hale took charge. Her team, specialists in environmental degradation, began dissecting its secrets. They swabbed for DNA, analyzed fibers, and tested for exposure. Early results puzzled. The yellow nylon, while faded, retained too much color for 4 years in open water. UV spectrometry showed minimal sun bleaching, as if sheltered from light. The insulation foam inside was dry in spots, free of the algae and rot expected from constant immersion. Microbial analysis revealed limited decay, suggesting stable dark storage. Hale's report was bombshell. The bag hadn't floated in that lake for years. It had been protected, indoors or underground until recently, then deposited by force. But what force? The lake was glacial, prone to spring thaws and flash floods from ice dams bursting. Meteorologists confirmed a massive melt event in May 2006, when record warmth triggered floods sweeping debris miles downstream. The bag must have been dislodged from a hidden spot upstream, carried by raging waters into the lake. This flipped the script. The discovery site was endpoint, not origin. Investigators traced backward, modeling flood paths with topographic data and hydrology software. Simulations narrowed to a rugged canyon above the lake, a maze of cliffs and caves known as Raven's Gulch, dismissed in 2002 as too remote. Keats assembled an elite team: climbers, medics, trackers. Their mission: find the shelter where the bag waited. Armed with maps and resolve, they plunged into the gulch, battling sheer drops and thorny devil's club. For days they probed overhangs and fissures, finding nothing but echoes. On day 4, a climber spotted an anomaly, a cave mouth concealed by fallen boulders, its entrance dry despite rains. Inside, a shallow chamber cool and shadowed. And there in the back, the skeletal remains of an adult male, curled protectively. Fractured skull and limbs spoke of a fall. Dental records confirmed Elias Byrne. Nearby, shreds of clothing and a rusted camera. No sign of Serena or Finn. But then a glint in the dirt, a handmade knife with a bone handle, wrapped in faded red sinew, a style used by local indigenous trappers, not Elias's gear. The cave wasn't just a tomb, it was a crime scene. The knife led to suspects, a reclusive couple, known for poaching in the park. Their confession would shatter everything. The confession from the reclusive couple, Joran and Tamsin Kale, would unravel a tale as chilling as the Alaskan winds that howled through Raven's Gulch. Investigators, led by Ranger Keats, tracked the Kales to a ramshackle cabin near Homer, Alaska, after the knife's unique sinew wrap matched confiscated gear from a 2001 poaching citation. Joran, a wiry man with eyes like chipped ice, and Tamsin, his gaunt wife with a voice like rust, lived on the fringes, trapping martens and dodging park rangers. Their sudden move to a remote outpost in 2003, months after the Byrne disappearance, raised red flags. A discreet visit revealed a child, a girl of 8, quiet and wary, with Finn's dark curls and Serena's delicate features. Could it be? The team approached softly, Keats carrying the knife in an evidence bag, its red sinew a silent accusation. Joran's face hardened, but Tamsin broke, her words spilling like a breached dam. On January 12, 2002, they'd been in Raven's Gulch, setting traps, when a thunderous crack split the air, a massive icefall from the glacier above. They found Elias at the base, crushed and dying, his camera shattered beside him. Serena lay nearby, her neck broken, Finn cradled in her arms, sobbing. Elias, gasping his last, begged them to save his son, pushing the yellow sleeping bag toward them. Panicked, illegal in the park, fearing prison, they took Finn, leaving the bodies. They fled with the bag, dropping the knife in haste, and rationalized keeping him as their own, naming him Kale. Years of guilt gnawed at them, but love for the boy they raised held firm. Finn, now Kale, was taken into protective custody. His DNA rushed for testing. 2 days later, Lila received the call. Elias and Serena were gone, but Finn was alive. The reunion was a storm of joy and pain. Finn, now 8, knew only the Kales as parents. If this wild Alaskan mystery has you on edge, hit that like button and subscribe for more untold stories. Your support fuels these journeys. The case shifted to justice. Joran and Tamsin faced charges of abduction and failure to report. Their defense a desperate plea of survival instinct. The courtroom buzzed with debate. Were they criminals or broken souls? Lila, torn between rage and gratitude, attended every hearing, her eyes on Finn, who sat silently clutching a toy moose. Forensic teams returned to the cave, finding Serena's remains under debris, her last act shielding Finn. The yellow bag, analyzed further, held traces of Finn's hair and Serena's blood, a heartbreaking timeline. Sheltered in the Kales' cabin, then lost in a 2006 flood that swept it to the lake. Public reaction was a firestorm. Online forums lauded the Kales' rescue, others damned them. Lila moved Finn to Seward, hiring therapists to bridge his lost years. The sleeping bag, now evidence, sat in a lab, a symbol of both loss and survival. Months later, a new lead emerged. A hiker found a rusted beacon near the icefall site, its signal dead, Elias's emergency device overlooked in 2002. It hinted at a failed distress call, deepening the tragedy. Keats retired, haunted by the case, while Lila rebuilt with Finn, his memories a fragile mosaic. The Alaskan wild had claimed 2, spared 1, and left a family to heal in its shadow. If you're captivated by this twist of fate, like and subscribe. More mysteries await. The story lingered in Seward, a campfire tale of love, loss, and redemption. Finn, adapting slowly, asked about the yellow bag. Lila told him it was his cocoon, a thread to his past. The Kale's trial neared, their fate undecided as the fjord stood silent, guarding their secrets. The trial of Joran and Tamsin Kale unfolded like a slow thaw over the frozen heart of Seward, each day peeling back layers of a story that gripped the town and beyond. The courtroom, a modest wood-paneled room overlooking Resurrection Bay, buzzed with tension as locals packed the benches, their whispers a mix of judgment and sympathy. Lila Byrne sat front row, her hands clasped tight. Finn, now Kyle, beside her, his small frame rigid under the weight of unfamiliar faces. The prosecution painted the Kales as opportunists, arguing their decision to take Finn stemmed from greed and fear of prosecution for poaching, not compassion. Evidence mounted. The knife with its red sinew wrap, found in the cave, linked them to the scene. Financial records showed a sudden influx of cash post-2002, possibly from selling Elias's camera gear, and witness accounts placed them near Raven's Gulch that day. The yellow sleeping bag displayed in a sealed case became a silent witness, its fibers holding Serena's blood, a testament to the chaos they fled. Joran, stoic on the stand, admitted to the poaching but claimed the icefall's roar drowned out any chance to help, his voice cracking as he described Finn's cries. Tamsin, tears streaking her weathered face, insisted they intended to turn him over but couldn't part with the boy who filled their childless home. Their defense leaned on survival instinct, a desperate act in a moment of panic, not malice. The jury deliberated for 3 days, the town holding its breath. The verdict came on a gray December morning in 2006, guilty of abduction and failure to report a death, but with leniency for lack of intent to harm. Joran received 5 years, Tamsin 3, both eligible for parole in 2. The sentence split opinions. Some saw justice, others a slap on the wrist for stealing a child. Lila felt a hollow victory. The Kale's love for Finn was real, complicating her relief. Finn, meanwhile, struggled. Therapy sessions revealed fragmented memories, Serena's lullabies, Elias's laughter, but the Kales were his anchor. He clung to the toy moose, a gift from Tamsin, his silence a wall Lila chipped at gently. She moved them to a cozy cabin, its windows framing the bay, hoping nature might heal him as it once united his parents. A new clue surfaced mid-trial. A park ranger found Elias's beacon log, recovered from the icefall debris. It showed a distress signal sent at 3:17 p.m. on January 12, 2002. Cut off abruptly, proof he fought to save them, ignored by the Kale's flight. This fueled public outrage, reigniting online debates. Some hailed Elias a hero, others questioned why the Kales didn't hear the signal. Keats, now retired, visited Lila, handing her the log with a gruff apology for the oversight. The sleeping bag, released from evidence, became Finn's keepsake, its yellow fading like his past. As 2007 dawned, Lila enrolled Finn in school, his first steps toward a new identity. He drew pictures of mountains and lakes, asking about the caterpillar bag. Lila wove tales of his parents' love, each story a thread to reclaim him. The Kales wrote from prison, letters filled with regret and pleas to see Finn, which Lila withheld, torn between forgiveness and fury. Spring brought a park memorial for Elias and Serena, a stone plaque near Exit Glacier where Lila scattered their ashes. Finn placed a yellow ribbon, his quiet tribute. The lake where the bag was found became a pilgrimage site, its waters a mirror to their fractured legacy. A hiker's report of a cave-in near Raven's Gulch hinted at undiscovered secrets, perhaps Serena's final moments. But searches yielded nothing. The wild reclaimed its silence, leaving Lila and Finn to forge ahead. The Kale's parole loomed, a decision Lila dreaded, fearing Finn's loyalties. The parole hearing for Joran and Tamsin Kale loomed like a storm cloud over Lila Byrne's fragile new life with Finn, its shadow stretching across the quiet months of 2007. Seward buzzed with anticipation, the small town dividing into camps. those who saw the Kales as redeemable, their bond with Finn a twisted salvation, and those who branded them thieves of a child's heritage. Lila, now 35, balanced her days between her job at a local bookstore and Finn's slow integration into second grade, where he excelled at drawing but shied from group play. His therapy progressed, unearthing flashes of memory, Serena's soft voice singing, "Twinkle, twinkle," Elias pointing out a bald eagle, but the Kale's influence lingered, a shadow in his hazel eyes. She dreaded their release, fearing Finn's heart might split further. The hearing, set for June 2008, drew media from Anchorage, their cameras a stark contrast to the fjord's serenity. Lila testified, her voice steady but raw, recounting the agony of 4 years without answers, the joy of Finn's return marred by his confusion. "They took my nephew, my brother's last gift," she said, her gaze piercing Joran across the room. Joran, leaner after 2 years, spoke of remorse, his hands trembling as he described the icefall's terror, how Finn's cries haunted him nightly. Tamsin echoed this, her letters to Finn, intercepted by Lila, pleading for forgiveness, calling him their little light. The parole board weighed their clean prison record against the crime's gravity. The decision came swift. Parole granted with strict conditions, no contact with Finn, community service, and counseling. Joran and Tamsin emerged in January 2008, relocating to a remote cabin near Soldotna, their presence a whisper on the wind. Lila exhaled, but the tension remained. Finn, now 9, asked about the Kales, his drawings shifting to include a man and woman with sad faces. Lila explained gently, framing them as helpers who made a mistake, but his questions persisted. A breakthrough came that fall. A geologist mapping glacial retreat near Raven's Gulch stumbled on a secondary cave exposed by melting ice. Inside, a rusted metal box held Elias's journal, water-damaged but legible. Entries from January 2002 detailed their hike, joyful notes on Finn's first glacier touch, then a frantic scrawl. Crack above, Serena down, beacon on, help. The last page, dated the 12th, ended mid-sentence. It confirmed the icefall, Elias's attempt to signal, and Serena's fall, aligning with the Kale's account but adding heartbreak. Elias knew help might not come. Lila wept over it, Finn tracing his father's handwriting with awe. The find reignited public interest, online forums buzzing with theories. Did the Kales hear the beacon? Was there a third party? A search of the new cave yielded Serena's locket, engraved with SE forever, buried under rubble, her final keepsake. This fueled calls for the Kales' rearrest, though evidence remained circumstantial. Lila framed the journal page, hanging it above Finn's bed, a link to his roots. He began asking about the yellow sleeping bag, now stored in a cedar chest, its fabric a faded memory. She told him it saved him, a cocoon of love, and they visited the lake where it was found, Finn tossing a flower into the water. The Kyle's silence held, their counseling reports noting regret, but no new confessions. In 2009, a park ranger found Elias's beacon battery, corroded near the icefall, suggesting it failed mid-signal, another layer of tragedy. Lila joined a wilderness safety advocacy group, channeling her pain into preventing others' losses. Finn grew, his art maturing into landscapes with hidden figures, Elias, Serena, the Kyles, a boy reconciling his dual worlds. A letter arrived that winter, unsigned but in Tamsin's hand, begging to see Finn's progress. Lila burned it, her resolve hardening. The fjords, ever watchful, revealed no more secrets, their ice retreating as if to bury the past. This tale of survival and struggle invites your voice. Smash that like button and subscribe to join the conversation. By 2010, Finn turned 12, a quiet leader among peers, his past a whisper he carried lightly. The yellow bag remained his talisman, a bridge to a family lost and found, as Lila and he faced a future shaped by the wild's unyielding lessons. As Finn Byrne edged toward adolescence in the crisp spring of 2010, The weight of his dual heritage began to shape him in ways Lila Byrne hadn't anticipated. Now 12, he stood taller, his frame echoing Elias's sturdy build, his eyes carrying Serena's warmth, but shadowed by the Kale's influence. Seward had settled into an uneasy calm, the trial's echoes fading, yet the fjords whispered reminders, glimpses of Joran and Tamsin. Kale spotted fishing near Soldatna, their parole terms holding but their presence a quiet threat. Lila, now 38, watched Finn closely, his art evolving into intricate scenes of icefalls and caves, figures blurred at the edges, Elias and Serena beside shadowy stand-ins for the Kales. His questions grew bolder. Did they love me like you do? Lila's heart clenched. She answered with truths softened by time, framing the Kales as flawed rescuers, not parents. The yellow sleeping bag, preserved in its cedar chest, became a ritual. Finn tracing its stitches, asking about the lake, the icefall, piecing together his origin. That summer, a park expedition near Raven's Gulch, spurred by melting ice exposing new crevasses, unearthed a startling find: Serena's backpack, its contents frozen in time. Inside, a damp notebook with her neat script chronicled their trip. Joyful entries of Finn's giggles, then panic as the ice cracked overhead on January 12, 2002. The last page, smudged but legible, read, "Elias down, Finn safe, help us." It ended abruptly, a plea swallowed by the glacier. Forensic analysis dated the ink to 2002, confirming her final moments shielding Finn before the Kale's arrival. The discovery reignited old wounds. Lila sobbed over the notebook, Finn clutching it like a lifeline. Public reaction surged. Online forums demanded the Kales face harsher scrutiny, some alleging they looted the gear, though no proof emerged. Ranger Keats, retired but consulted, shook his head. The icefall's chaos explained the oversight. The backpack's location, high in the gulch, suggested Serena crawled there post-fall, a mother's instinct driving her to protect. Lila framed a page from Serena's notebook, hanging it beside Elias's journal, a dual testament to their love. Finn, inspired, began a school project on glacial survival, interviewing rangers and weaving his story into it, a quiet pride emerging. Yet the Kale's shadow loomed. In October 2010, a letter slipped under Lila's door, Joran's handwriting begging to meet Finn, citing his parole progress. Lila burned it, her trust shattered, but Finn sensed the tension, his drawings darkening with cave-like voids. She enrolled him in wilderness therapy, hoping the land that took his parents could heal him. The program, run by ex-ranger Mara Tully, took them to Kenai Fjords, where Finn learned to navigate by stars, a skill Elias had taught. One night, under the aurora, he whispered, "I miss them all," tears falling. Elias, Serena, the Kales. Lila held him, vowing to shield his heart. A new lead surfaced in 2011. A trapper found a rusted carabiner near the icefall, etched with EV, Elias's initials. It hinted at his scramble to secure Finn or signal, lost in the collapse. Searches of the area revealed a shallow crevasse, too narrow for prior teams, containing shredded tent fabric, green like their campsite photo. This suggested the family was camped near the fall site when it struck, their gear scattered. The find fueled speculation. Did the Kales miss a chance to report? No evidence supported it, but the question lingered. If this tale of survival and secrets grips you, smash that like button and subscribe. By 2012, Finn turned 14, his confidence growing as he led peers on school hikes, his past a quiet strength. Lila published a memoir, Echoes of the Fjords, blending Elias's journal, Serena's notes, and her journey with Finn, donating proceeds to wilderness safety. The Kales remained silent, their parole ending in 2013, fading into Alaska's vastness. A final discovery came that year, a child's boot, size 7, near the crevasse, its sole worn but intact. Finn's, lost in the chaos. Lila buried it with the ashes, a closure of sorts. The lake where the sleeping bag surfaced became a memorial site, its waters reflecting a family's resilience.
And that wraps up today's story. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments, and let's see how far these stories reach. If this story moved you or gave you chills, give it a like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. One last thing, rate the story from 1 to 10 in the comments. Your feedback helps us bring you even better ones next time. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you being part of this storytelling journey.